Nirodha, the cessation of suffering. Nirodha, the cessation of suffering, arose just like you already described, Venerable Thoon. Luang Por stated, "At that time there was no consciousness in anything. Though I had eyes, ears, a nose, a tongue, and a body, there was no consciousness of any form, sound, scent, taste, or touch, because consciousness, vijnana, had ceased. Consciousness of the eyes didn't exist. Consciousness of the ears didn't exist. Consciousness of the nose didn't exist. Consciousness of the tongue didn't exist. And consciousness of the body didn't exist. There was no sense impression of form, no sense impression of sound, no sense impression of scent, no consciousness of taste, and no consciousness of physical contact whatsoever. The eyes I had were merely eyes. The ears I had were merely ears. The nose I had was merely a nose. The tongue I had was merely a tongue. The body I had was merely a body. They could not be put to any use. This was the cessation of the physical aggregate, rupa kanda. Then the mental aggregates, nama kanda, ceased. Vedana, which denotes the various preoccupations, aramana, of happiness, sukha, preoccupations, aramana, of suffering, dukkha, and preoccupations, aramana, of neither happiness nor suffering, was unable to feel anything at that time, because consciousness, vijnana, of preoccupations, aramana, did not exist. Sanya, or memory and recognition, was unable to remember anything at all. This was because consciousness, vijnana, of memory, sanya, had already ceased. Consequently, there was no remembering of anything at all. Sankhara, or mental formations, was also unable to form any mental formations. This was because there was no consciousness, vijnana, of mental formations. Before, the mind had previously thought of various things, but now it could not think anything at all. Once only consciousness, vijnana, ceased, both the physical aggregate, rupa kanda, and mental aggregates, nama kanda, completely stopped and went silent. They could not work anymore. I didn't exist. You didn't exist. Contentment didn't exist. And discontentment didn't exist. Luang Por Khao went on. The use of wisdom, paññā, to contemplate was exactly how you described. Developing continuous insight, vipassana, was the same. Developing continuous insight knowledge, vipassana jnana, was the same. Nirodha, the cessation of suffering and the cessation of the cause of suffering, were the same. Asavakaya jnana, knowing that mental intoxication will cease, was the same. If you practice the same way, you must know and see the same things. When you eat from the same dish, the food tastes the same to everyone. Similarly, practice that begins from a certain cause will later result in an outcome that is the same for all. Pativeta, the attainment of enlightenment, is the result, phala, that is the same. How slowly or quickly one will achieve understanding depends on how much bharami one has cultivated. Whether one reaches understanding quickly or slowly is unimportant, because the result that emerges is purification, parisuddhi, that is the same. The cessation of defilements and desires, and the extinction of mental intoxication is the same. The same place is reached. Enlightenment, nibbana.